This is the World Athletics Podcast.
This is the first time that we've really brought a unique global running festival to market.
I like the city and the beautiful buildings here and good running roads.
We're delighted that Riga should be the destination for the inaugural championships.
But I think it's a nice town and I'm happy for this event.
Riga 2023.
Well, the conditions are really good today for fast times, and I think we could possibly even see some world records.
Running is the most accessible sport on the planet. It is the most practiced sport on the planet. This is really a celebration of running at its best, at its best, at its best, at its best.
Coming up, we celebrate the first World Championships Road Mile.
The strategy is a little different in a road mile mentally.
It demands a focus that you probably don't have on the track.
The different surfaces take a little bit of different training.
This was my first experience on the road and my first road race ever.
But first, Riga 23 in 90 seconds. The women's 5-kilometer race.
And it is going to be gold for Tibet in this inaugural edition of the World Championship 5K on the road as Beatrice Tibet takes gold.
I didn't expect because this is my first road race, but just believing in myself and perseverance that maintained me to win.
The men's 5-kilometer race.
Gebro right now, it's the front. At the age of 29, he has all the experience in the world, and he's used it wonderfully well here as he tears through this last 50 meters towards the line.
In Budapest, I couldn't perform well, but here in Riga, I'm happy what I achieved right now.
The women's road mile.
Well, Teji here is going to cause the upset of the day so far. It's going to be gold for Ethiopia in this inaugural Women's World Championship of the road mile.
My ability is step by step, it's increased to achieve for more goals.
The men's road mile.
And it is a win for Hobbs Kessler of the USA. The 20-year-old has become the first ever world champion for a road mile.
I'm super proud. I couldn't be happier.
The women's half marathon.
Here's Jepchirchir, the Olympic champion, the defending champion, retains her title. She wins here in Latvia.
After injury, I trust and believe myself that I've come back.
The men's half marathon.
Sebastian Sawe of Kenya. He's been magnificent on the roads, and he's the best here today.
Sebastian, world half marathon champion. How does that sound?
It sounds good to me.
From a personal perspective, I am of course delighted that we've now been able to, for the very first time, formally enshrine the mile in a World Championships.
World Athletics President Sebastian Coe.
Not only is it one of the most accessible distances, but it is also a distance that has such an extraordinary and lustrous history. It's a very different type of mentality that you take to a road than you do on the track. If you've got a straight mile in front of you, it demands pace judgment, it demands a focus that you probably don't have on the track because there's a lot of stuff happening around you all the time.
In a track, it's really easy because you have markers and a clock to look at, every 100 or 200 meters.
Sam Prakel.
In a road mile, you're kind of having to go off feel. And I feel like as an athlete in training and racing, I've always done a good job of gauging my effort to get the most out of myself in every race. And on the track, sometimes it doesn't pan out because you're having to throw in other tactics and navigate around a field in just one lane. But a road, you have an entire 2 or 3 lanes to just have space to move, and timing isn't necessarily as important because you can just move whenever you want because there's so much space on the roads.
The different surfaces take a little bit of different training.
Jessica Hull.
And I think that's inevitably what keeps everything fresh and exciting from the start of the year. And just kind of like having the opportunity to mix things up and to run down a straight road rather than going on splits. It's been pretty cool to see like that it's just maintained the excitability towards the end of the season, and no signs of like burnout, just keeping things very fresh by being able to mix up the different surfaces.
Well, the athletes gathering now for this first of the 2 1-mile races, the women's 1-mile race. Very little room for error over such a short distance. 22 nations represented, very strong squads again from Kenya and Ethiopia. I would like to say it's pretty open, but of course with Faith Kipyegon, the greatest 1500 metre runner ever in the field, well, it'll be very tough for any of these athletes to beat the Kenyan.
Faith is an outstanding athlete. I had the great privilege of seeing her very first world record in Florence at the beginning of the year. I think it was one of our first, second or third Diamond League meetings. And again, you know, we've just witnessed not just world records, but an extraordinary season. So understand that you're going to witness an extraordinary piece of history in the lustrous history of our sport. And she is an outstanding athlete, and at this very moment you'd be hard pushed not to say that she's arguably the best female athlete, one of the best female athletes of all time, regardless of distance or discipline.
Certainly she's head and shoulders above the rest, but Jessica Hull is one of the athletes who might be able to challenge her.
I'm sharing the start line with a lot of the Kenyan and Ethiopian women. These are women that I've raced with all season, so I think if we can just all go out there and do our best and see what that looks like, it's going to be really cool. And being part of the excitement of a brand new event has definitely made it something to look forward to at the end of the calendar.
Jessica Hull trying to hang on. She's back in about 4th is Hull. There's Kipyegon now, not phased by Diribe Walteji's attentions here. The 21-year-old Ethiopian, slightly taller, tucked in behind. There she gets a little glance, Kipyegon, of what's going on behind her, but Walteji will be tough.
This was my first experience on the road and my first road race ever. So I didn't know how to run on the road, but this is my first experience towards moving to marathon in future.
Kipyegon at the moment, eyes front. Still pushes on strongly, but cannot rid herself of the attentions of Walteji. This is brilliant running from the Ethiopian to hang on to the coattails of the Kenyan.
This season you have had some close battles with Faith Kipyegon. You've come second to her a couple of times already.
She said, you know, me and the Faith Kipyegon, many times we compete together, but she's a veteran, she's experienced, so I learned a lot from her. Really, I respect her, she said.
Dare she go past her? She's matching her stride for stride now. The crowd's loving this one. And the Olympic champion, the world champion, glances over her shoulder there and maybe is beaten. Walteji here is going to cause the upset of the day so far. It's going to be gold for Ethiopia in this inaugural Women's World Championship over the road mile.
I didn't expect this. This means it shows us, you know, my ability is like, you know, step by step, it's increased to achieve for more goals.
But a shock there as Diribe Walteji of Ethiopia gets that fantastic gold to defeat Faith Kipyegon. It's very, very rare these days. Season after season you see Kipyegon beaten in any race, but she's been beaten today, my word.
Unfortunately, I didn't win the gold medal, but it has been a beautiful season 2023 for me. Next year is coming up, and the first thing is just to stay healthy, being consistent in what I do, and just keep on training, keep on motivating the young generation, young girls to know everything is possible. As for me, I've been pushing myself and being patient towards what I've managed to achieve this year, and it has been incredible. Yeah, so next year will be another year when we hope for the best.
Well, the men's mile will be next up. Sam Prakel, well, he is the world record holder from the USA. He was 4th in their championships this year. So expect a good challenge or defence of his world record holder status here.
When they announced this event last year, I marked it on my calendar, and I knew that it was something I really wanted to do, just someone who likes road miles, and I even scheduled my wedding for a week later so I could be here for this event. So it's great to be here, and it's great to represent the US.
Sam Prakel, very experienced racing on the roads over the mile.
Hobbs Kessler moving forward too, and it's about 8 across at the front here. With so little road to come, it's a desperately aggressive last 200 metres here.
It was really windy, so I tried to stay tucked in for as long as possible. Then right around 200, 150, I found myself taking the wind, and I was like, all right, well, I got another gear. First one to strike in a lot of these road miles ends up taking it, so I was like, if I'm gonna take the win, I might as well go. And I shifted really hard, and I immediately was hit with a super strong headwind, and I was like, oh, this is a bad decision. But the finish line was getting closer and closer, and no one was passing me. I took a quick look around, and I still was in first.
And at the front, it's a real crash battle for the win here. It's going to be a win, is it, for Hobbs Kessler as he drives towards the tape.
I wasn't really sure like how it would go overall or how I stacked up, but once I made my move, I went as hard as I possibly could.
And it is a win for Hobbs Kessler of the USA. The 20-year-old has become the first ever world champion for a road mile.
Good way to end the season. I'm super proud. I couldn't be happier.
Another new world record. As we expected, the time of Sam Prakel has been resigned to history. It lived for a few months, although he actually only found out about a month ago that he was officially world record holder.
The big goal was just coming here with a medal. Everyone talked about the world record a lot, and it was cool to hold it for a month, but I think I'm a competitor, and I think I value like place over time, and I knew there were some good guys in that race, and if I could get top 3, I think that was a good finish for me.
Kessler Hobbs, our new world champion, also from the USA. Maybe not many people know much about him. What can we expect from him in the future?
He's super young still. He's been on the map in the US for a while, just a really fast high schooler, and has experience of road miles, so I knew he'd be a guy to look out for today, and he had a huge run, and I'm really happy for him, and I'm happy that the record stays in the US, and to get 2 medals for the US is big too at this event, and hopefully we can come back in the future and defend those medals.
It has been a brilliant day on the streets of Riga. We have enjoyed it immensely. The crowds have too. Over 13,000 souls racing in the mass races.
This is really a celebration of running at its best.
To get more from us, sign up to Inside Track on worldathletics.org. This is World Athletics.